STEM is often not seen as like a creative field. Like arts is where you go if you're creative, or you just want to not have a job at the end of your degree or whatever. Everything is out there because of technology, because of the internet. Things are very accessible. You want to know how to do something? There's a million guides.
Wow. And now they know about it.
Now you will be sued
Now
for
you'll
all
be
of your
sued.
money, all of your ringgits.
Hey everybody, welcome to Cut the Stem. We are back with episode number, I don't know. Do you know what
5.
number we're on? 5. Damn, that's quick. 5 episodes already. How do you guys feel? Do you guys feel like real podcasters yet?
What a real podcast is.
Well, real podcasters are people who are like, they just come in and then they feel really good like when they start. Do you guys feel more comfortable now?
Not when you're asking me questions.
Oh.
It's starting to be more
Phil.
natural in front of the camera now.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel good. I feel we've developed something that's very nice.
For me, it's going the other way. More comfortable in front of the camera, less comfortable with you.
Oh.
And this guy is just studying some Discord here. Speaking of Discord, technology.
That's a good transition. I like that, actually. Nice.
Technology is like such a big part of like our world, especially those of us who live like in the city or work in any form that requires the internet, uses a computer every day, right? We are very, very reliant on tech. And if you live, most of us I'm sure if you're listening to this or watching this, you're someone who is also very reliant on tech at home. And I think when we often talk about STEM, which is what this series is all about, we talk a lot about science, we talk a lot about like careers, the math, the engineering, those things. And we haven't really kind of stepped into like the tech part of it yet. Well, the tech part is just really, really important, and the tech part is a huge driver for many, many industries, right? And if you're someone that considers themselves an artistic person, it's very likely that you're also quite reliant on a lot of tech. Maybe not, but there is like a good chance that we kind of use that. And I think if I could, one of the things that happened this year that was sort of interesting to me, that showed like what a big part, like sort of a piece of tech or an online software plays in everybody's life, was when somewhere, I don't know when this can be posted, but somewhere in 2024, Canva announced that they're going to do a big price hike. Did you guys see that?
Oh no.
Yeah, so there was going to be a big price hike. So whatever you've been paying for 5 people in the whole year, you would end up having to pay per person for a month. And then there was a big outroar, and then everybody wrote emails to them, and then they were like, okay, the
Okay,
price,
I'll drop
the price hike is only for new
Oh shit.
like customers who are coming in. Do you not know about this?
No, I don't use Canva all that
Okay, so it's only for new customers, and all of you who have already been on the platform, you guys get to retain like your old kind of price. Yeah. So for those of like, if you're in Malaysia, at that time it was about, I was paying for a group of 5 people about somewhere between 25 to 30 ringgit per month, right? And I think if you took the whole year package, it's 250. Now it's 250 per person in my 5-person team. So it's crazy. So the backlash shows that there are many people out there who are reliant on Canva, right? People who, they've kind of like limited the need for going to another design person. Obviously that need is still there, but now a lot of people are doing their own logos, doing their own videos, and everybody is so reliant on it. So I think just to kick off, I like to ask the both of you, what, like at home and at work, 2 different categories, what is something like you're sort of like, you're very reliant on tech wise, that that if this thing went away, then you would really be kind of screwed. I think I could sum up the answer for myself in one, which would be obviously my phone.
Okay.
And I think if we were to zoom in like a little bit further, it would be all the banking apps, because I never carry any cash with me anywhere.
Okay, yeah.
So the fact is, like, now everywhere you go, you don't really have to have cash anywhere. The other day I went to our Pasar Malam, which is our night market. I'm sure you've been to one, and now everybody's on QR, which I was like, thank you, because I do not have a single ringgit on me, So yeah, what is it for you guys?
I guess in terms of work, it will be Canva.
Mm.
Mainly because I do a lot of content creation for the company in terms of whether it's marketing collaterals or just creating new logos or any new kind of like designs for the company just to beta
Right.
test. And yeah, I feel like without it, because I kind of hate all the other tools, and it's the one that's the most accessible for me. So I would probably feel very useless within the company if I didn't have that.
Right.
Personal, guess it will be CapCut.
Mm.
Yeah, CapCut is kind of like one of the rare video content tools that I know that is still free and it's still very user friendly, because mainly it has all the templates, and I like to content create in my personal life as well. Mainly because I like just to share about my life. But yeah, I feel like without it, it'll be very difficult on me to like do it very manually or from scratch.
Right.
Yeah.
The first time I used CapCut, I was kind of actually impressed with how much you could actually get done from your phone, and not having to open a computer and get all of that done. Are you a pro subscriber?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
It's the hack where you just render your video and you download it, and then it will go to TikTok, and then you can download it without the watermark. Yeah.
Wow. And now they know about it.
Now you will be sued
Now
for
you'll
all
be
of your
sued.
money,
Oh.
all of your ringgits.
I'm a pro I'm a pro subscriber. Don't sue me.
Is
Yeah.
it? Would you say it's comparable?
There's more access.
I use the desktop app now.
Yeah.
And it is a lot of things that I feel are quite helpful. And then, it's sort of like Canva, where a lot of the transitions and stuff like that are under the pro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just sort of like easier to kind of.
I kind of
Yeah.
mean like, is it comparable to other software? So I use like Adobe Premiere Pro.
Because he fancy.
Yeah.
Fancy man.
Would you say it's comparable?
I
I
used-
imagine
I used
the
to
free
be a-
version isn't, but it's probably
Yeah.
it's CapCut's got to be the best like free video editing.
I
out
mean, if
there.
you're starting out, it's a very
Yeah.
it's a very
Yeah.
helpful and step-by-step guiding tool.
So I used to be a Premiere guy. Then I kind of switched laptops.
We went back to CapCut. Okay.
Then I switched laptops. I got a MacBook, and then I got Final Cut,
Okay. Or
Yeah.
Final Cut. Okay.
and I hated it
Mm.
because because I just didn't spend enough time like sort of studying.
It's so
Like,
hard when you first start. For any of them, yeah.
studying the interface. But then so I was like, oh, maybe I should just try CapCut because a lot of people I knew was using it. So I just got the desktop app, and I just like subscribed like
Okay.
monthly, and the format to me was more like what I was used to in Premiere.
Okay.
Then the thing about CapCut is it's very catered towards like people who want to just push out content like immediately.
Yeah.
So it's not like as technical like.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not. I don't think you can do like with color grading and stuff at the same level you can do it
Yeah.
like Premiere.
Okay.
But to be fair, I think a lot of people who are using CapCut are not like shooting on a DSLR.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're shooting on an iPhone, and an iPhone already sort of has like this thing that it does that
Yeah.
people are kind of used to, and it's sort of acceptable quality. So
Yeah.
it is. I mean,
mean-
sort of. Yeah, and then when you kind of move it there, it just kind of works.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, for me at work, Adobe Premiere Pro is my go-to. I feel like
Mm.
I spend so much of my time on that.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest technology that I'm using.
Mm.
And I feel like $60 a month seems, I don't know if that seems cheap or expensive, but I think when you compare like the value you can get from it, it's cheap.
I think it is cheap,
Yeah.
and I think that. Well, I mean, this is a different podcast about everything moving to a subscription model, but I think it being $60 a month has made it way more affordable than when you had to get the whole creative suite. Or
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
It depends on the frequency, I guess, of how much you're using it.
Yeah.
If
yeah.
it's
Because I needed it when I was in college, and nobody could afford
Okay.
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
I would not pay $60 for a subscription.
But
That's now. It was
yeah,
more than.
it was more than it
Oh,
was
yeah.
like back in 2017, 2018. It was like you had to pay a couple hundred to get
because you would get Photoshop
Yeah.
and everything as well. Now, like I just have Premiere Pro.
Yeah. You don't have to get the whole thing.
Mm.
So it's like a huge thing. So think apps like this have kind of brought all of that functionality. Like if we had CapCut when I was in college, all my video assignments would be so much better looking than like what it actually was then. But those were the tools of the time. But it also shows that how much sort of the tech drives like the quality of things.
Yeah, but not completely, right? Like you'll never get to a point where the quality of the technology is completely definitional of the best content, because there'll always be someone who's thinking, more outside the box, is working harder, being more creative, and can come up with something better.
Oh, for sure.
So it kind of like it picks up the bottom, but I mean, I feel like so far there's been less pushing at the top of like how creative, how great a video you can make, but it has really brought everyone up from either making no videos or their videos just suck to like everyone's videos are actually pretty good now.
I think that at the end of the day, you can't replace like talent and good eye for all of these things. But what you said is right. I think it's the same with Canva. It's made the baseline for what we expect from presentations a lot higher.
I think all of the graphics for Canva helped me so much, because I'm terrible with graphics and stuff, and like that's helped. So.
Yeah. So you can see, I mean, from this conversation as well, it's like there is that we are sort of very reliant on a lot of tech to kind of make our daily work sort of happen. So there is sort of a need for a whole industry of like artistic people or content creators, who did need all of these tools, right? And I think this is the part of the tech industry that like is not really talked about a lot when we discuss things like STEM, right? So we always think about them scientists and engineers and mathematicians, right? And the tech part, I think we have like sort of a very focused view. Like I obviously here at Space Quest, they have a very good relationship with sort of a cyber armor thing, and they have a cyber security program as well, right? The Space Quest as well, that you guys should check out at the website that's somewhere here, spacequest.asia, right? Yeah, so which they do have, and that's sort of a thing that's always talked about, right? But what do you guys think are sort of other aspects of the tech industry that are not often sort of like discussed, and there are avenues for people to go in and sort of develop?
I think for what I think is that STEM is often not seen as like a creative field. Like arts, as we go if you're creative, or you just want to not have a job at the end of your degree or whatever. That is what a lot of people say as well. But there is so much room to be creative within STEM, like so much. Like even looking at like engineering, where things are like pretty black and white. Look at what's it called, like bio something engineering. What's it called? Where like they're working on like different things that can help in the body. Can't remember what it's called, but anyway, point is it's for like different medical devices and stuff that can be used on people. And I mean, you can come up with something if you feel like there's a problem with like everyone's got this knee problem. You can come up with some solution for it. There is so much creativity, even in something like engineering. But I think what we've just been talking about is very much creative. Like the whole point of CapCut and Adobe and all that sort of stuff is it's technologies used for creative means.
I think one thing within the tech industry that often gets overlooked is the people that create the designs of certain things.
Right.
It's like, for example, software design or software engineering, or IT design and then it's engineering. It's like we're so grateful to have these modernized technology that makes our life very easy and more like we can focus on other things rather than think of like how to start stuff from scratch. And we often we don't really look at how it came about, and it came about through the hardworking people that put a lot of effort into the designing the entire concept and having to learn the basics of how things integrate with one another so that this function can then happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that we don't often think about, is that there's a lot of there's people working very hard on all of these things, sort of make they do many hours, so we spend kind of less
Yeah.
hours on the work itself. And I think there's a lot of opportunities, I think, for people to consider when you're thinking about career, right? Obviously this involves studying things that probably are very difficult, like coding and sort of like building these programs. But I think at the end of the day, yes, you do sell them and it's for a profit, and yes, but I think you are still doing a lot of good for a lot of people. So like I think like when we've kind of gone and done school programs, and they have to do like video promos right within that week that we are there, and all of them are doing it on their phone, and all of them are using things like CapCut, which is free, to sort of create
Not
things
sponsored,
that
by the way.
not sponsored, but to create things that are really like fun and way like better quality than anything probably we could have done when we were in school. And that's sort of also like it is helping people who couldn't afford to have like all of this stuff. So as a student, you already receive the benefits of it. So I think that is a great consideration to have when you're thinking about, okay, like what are some careers that I should explore.
Yeah, it's better to think about the end goal as well. Like you kind of mentioned that like you do have to do some hard stuff.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, like, you know, I've tried to learn coding and it is hard. It can be frustrating, but you got to think about the end goal, you know. Like things, they're usually only so hard when you start. Like you'll get into a rhythm, you'll learn more, and then it'll be so much more worthwhile because then you can use it for whatever later.
Yeah.
But I guess, right, that brings me to another like question: should people outside of STEM still like go through the basics of understanding the tech?
This is very great. So, like, I think, like, I don't know, like, you guys, because you were the school person, went to a sort of institution in here, and then you can talk about your schooling experience. But what was like the tech education like
In school?
in school?
Do we have tech education in school? I think the only thing I remember about tech education is like that once in a while we go to the ICT lab and this it's like a triggering memory. Then we have to go into VLE Frog. I don't think you've heard of it before, right?
VLE Frog?
Yeah.
What's VLE Frog? Tell us about the frog.
Our producer knows. I don't remember the what the purpose of the frog was, but I think it's just to teach us like how to surf on the web, and like there was these different modules that we have to like is to re-enhance our learning, if I remember it correctly. But to be fair, everyone, like the qualities of the computers and the Wi-Fi signal was so slow back in the day that all of us logging into the computer at once it was redundant. And then other than that, tech parts, I guess we in Kemarin Hidup, which is, I don't know what's it called in English, it's basically we build stuff. So you can build like from wood creations to then also like learning how to do the circuits as well. But that was also like project basis, and it was like only from Form 1 to Form 3, and then you don't have it anymore. Yeah, but that's I think that's basically it. Mainly because I came from science stream, so I'm not sure what the other art classes did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like for those sort of things, it's better if you have more push towards doing things in your free time with, you know, this or that, and being given. I mean, it's hard when you need the actual hardware, like computer, or like, you know, the wiring and the solder and everything, and the wood and the saws, if you want to do any stuff like that. But where am I going with this? I think for me, whenever I think about anything, I just think motivation. For me, I'm such like a motivation person. And like when I look back at my childhood, I think if only I had more motivation, if only I was motivated more by myself or others to have an interest in something, I feel like that's how you get such a deep appreciation for different things and how you know, choose your career and all of that. I feel like my experience was pretty much the exact same. Like we had like these classes where you'd do like some computer stuff, some wood stuff, some technology stuff, but yeah, not all that much. But to be fair, maybe I just didn't latch onto it. Maybe because I, wasn't in love with this specific part. Because I definitely know that there were some kids in my school that like, man, they loved the computer stuff. They go in there during lunchtime and they would like learn about, how do you do this, and they would be very interested. So yeah, it depends on the person, I guess.
So that's kind of like funny. Well, I don't know. This is a question we should ask. We could ask Zoe, right, who is behind the camera and very young. But so just nod your head, right? Do you think that you had sufficient tech education in school? Yes. So they taught you to use the like the apps that are often used today, or like word processing.
They taught us
They taught you how to code. All right. So this could be sort of like a generation thing. Yeah, where those were not things considered when I was in school. Well, maybe today, because they are a lot more seen as actual careers now, that it's being considered.
It's being focused lah.
Yeah. You know what everyone is considering now? Everyone wants to be a content creator.
Yeah.
That's what everyone is doing. Everyone's like, I want to...
But people don't realize till later that it's very difficult. That there's so many factors involved in being able to do that well.
I think it's difficult if that's it. If that is like the end of your dream or the end of your sentence of I want to be a content creator. Yeah,
right.
That's it. Yeah, you're not going to make it. But if it's like, I want to be a content creator to show this like really cool thing that I do, then that's different. And like that's where the different parts of technology come into it. I mean, the thing is with content creating and why it's so great is that you can do anything, and if you can film it and you can edit it somewhat well, then like it'll be interesting as long as the thing you are doing first is interesting. And so if you already have an interest in, like, some people might really like math or engineering, but they just don't want to go and do that job. But you can be a content creator in engineering or math. There are loads out there who they like teaching it or they like thinking about it in a more creative way, and they put it like that, and yeah, they're great.
Okay. My experience with tech was only, I think, being homeschooled, and a lot of stuff I did was already on the computer. So like the day-to-day doing
Your
assignments
tasks,
and stuff was already on the computer. And then I think also having like a very strong interest in music early on, and my dad was sort of encouraging me to like sort of explore some of the software elements of it. So that is how I became more acquainted and comfortable with using a computer. So I think it's like right now, I think from people who I've talked to who went to school who are around my age, people didn't do like, everything had to be written in terms of like all the papers that you had to submit and all that. I think you are allowed to type it in. Are you?
I think school's still right.
You still write?
Yeah.
Okay. Even like if it's like an essay and stuff, you have to write it. Not for your exam, like for your.
I think
okay.
like tech, like that only comes in when you enter college and uni.
So that's also very weird. Like, why would you not develop typing skills at a sort of like at a fundamental level if you know that most of what you're doing is gonna involve that, right?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, we still need to cultivate the skills.
Oh, definitely, you need to get people to write.
Yeah,
for sure. And you have to
write?
you have to write. You have to write while you're in the classroom. You have to write at your exams. So I still feel there's a lot of writing going on. But imagine like, okay, you haven't sat down and typed okay, this is not a long paper, like 1,000-word essay. If the first time you're doing it is in your foundation, then it's gonna be like a struggle.
I guess so, but it also depends on the person of how quick.
Right.
Because I feel like the new generation picks things up very easily. So even when I entered foundation, or like that 1-year program, it was pretty easy to just adapt the whole typing thing. Yeah, even with writing with a pen.
And do you think that's because of the phone?
It does help. Yeah, it does help. And then obviously we have our own devices at home, and we are obviously practicing it. Although we're not writing an essay, we're still typing to the web or posting this on social media and so on.
It's so hard to figure out how to type on a keyboard when you never had a phone first. Because the letters are all over the place. If you use the phone first, it's in the same.
Yeah, actually, it's the layout.
Yeah, the layout.
And maybe the phone has sort of changed out because we sort of know where
you get used to
everything is, and then you can kind of type without looking sometimes because it's just yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I wanted to circle back to the content creative part that you mentioned. I do feel like, yes, content creation is outside of STEM, and you actually, for content creators those who want to aspire to be one, you don't really need STEM. That's just my general opinion. You don't really need STEM. To be a content creator, you need the ability to be creative and storytelling, but that can only take you to a certain extent. I think when you need to kick off your career in like content creation, having knowledge in the tech part does come in handy because you're doing it alone. So you need to actually learn like how to do the whole videography part and the editing part, and then it's also like understanding like on the back end, once you posted your videos, how well is your video doing, the metric systems, all the data and analytics and calculation part. It's a very good skill to have, and that still falls under the STEM category. So although it doesn't seem like it's a necessity, it's definitely a huge booster if you ever decide to aspire into that career opportunity.
I feel like no matter what you do, there's always more layers than you think, and content creating is no different.
Correct.
There's search engine optimization, there's thumbnails, there's editing, there's so many details.
Yeah, it all requires, like, even if you're in marketing and you think you don't have to learn any element of technology, then you're sort of kidding yourself, because there's so much of it that is involved, right? So yes, I think when if you're in school right now and you're considering what are things to do, like I think there's two main things that you have to, that maybe you can take away to this. I think going into the industry where you are sort of building these sort of things is it could be some like a something kind of cool that to explore. I think you would find it very fascinating and very interesting, because you're sort of building something for like a certain purpose. That's one. And number two is you can't run away from learning a lot of technology. So like a lot of people like that we meet that are young, they want to be internet famous, but at the end of the day you have to be internet famous for doing something. Unfortunately, there are people who, by sort of good luck and good timing, they were famous for not doing anything. But I mean, most of the people that you do admire, if you actually just sit there and think about it, well, they're good at doing something. And you have to sort of like, you have to learn your craft. You have to kind of dive deep into it and sort of,
I mean, same thing, right? When they start off, usually people who, like kids who want to go into that route, they start off with streaming. And still with streaming, like if you go basic platforms or like TikTok or Twitch, you still need to understand like certain functionalities of the entire stream. Yeah. And you need to be grateful for the fact that there are these functionalities now because of the people that created the tech.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't be lazy about it. Like learn how a camera and a microphone work.
All the basics, just understand the basics of it. It does, although it seems difficult, it does take you a long way, lah.
Yes. Ethan, why don't you close us out with your final word of wisdom?
There's no secret. Like, if you want to be good at anything, like, once you look below the first layer, like, it's all clear, it's all obvious. You just need to put in like more effort and more. Everything is out there because of technology, because of the internet. Things are very accessible. You want to know how to do something? There's a million guides. Like, all it comes down to is that effort, and the first step is the hardest, but once you get beyond that, like, you'll run.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that was it. Thank you so much. That was Cut the Stem. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.